Have you ever considered using drones to sell your property or display your establishment? They provide unique angles, unique heights, spectacular scenery. However, there is a potential of a huge fine. Hi, my name is Riaan and I'm a legal drone pilot. For about 15 years, I have also got my Drone Flight Instructor's rating with the Civil Aviation. So in other words, I teach drone law. And this video is about helping and guiding with regards to the use of drones commercially. By using a drone to sell your property, for example, you can elevate your video, your marketing material to a whole new level. Spectacular views, see the property from above, access roads, schools, you name it, it's possible. And just the beauty of your home in the setting that it is. For example, the beauty of Somerset West, Helderberg Strand. We have an amazing location and your property will look better than ever. Okay, so you want to use a drone to shoot your property. Technology is amazing, but as you know, with any object can be used for good or for bad. In this case, there are sometimes many concerns about people flying drones over your property or nearby your property. One doesn't always know what the person behind it is doing. It could be an innocent father and son just playing time with a drone and not trying to spy on anybody, but there are privacy concerns as well as technology can fail. A drone could fall down onto a car, onto a person, and the outcome on that could really be harmful. As you know, with anything like a car, one has to have a license in order to drive legally and safely on the road. So there are drone laws in South Africa, especially when using drones for a commercial purpose. In 2015, around about July, the first drone laws came into effect in South Africa, and those drone laws were specifically around commercial use of drones. In other words, that somebody either using a drone to deliver a service, in this case, if I want to sell your house and I'm an agent and I use a drone to take a photo of your house, that is a commercial purpose and a commercial outcome. And therefore, there are certain laws and regulations and licenses that have to be in place. So let's take a look at some myths and facts about the drone laws and the usage of drones from hobbyists to commercial pilots. One of the myths around using drones is the size of a drone, whether they be little drones that can fit in your hands, slightly bigger ones, to the professional commercial sized drones. The South African law doesn't differentiate between size or weight. So whether you're using this drone or this drone to capture a photograph for your property, if you're going to do it commercially, you need all the licenses. So that's one myth. If anybody says to you, oh, but it's under 250 grams, that applies in America, but not in South Africa. It's not a civil aviation law, it's an FAA law, which is overseas. The other myth I'd like to address is, well, it's my property, surely I'm allowed to do on my property what I want to do on my property. To a certain extent that is true, but not when it comes down to the air above your property. So from ground level and up, then that falls into civil aviation airspace. All right, so it's your property. What can you do on your property with regards to drones? Well, you could probably fly one of those drones you buy at the local toy store, under the tree, around the table, and that sort of thing. But you may not use a drone that's got a camera on it for commercial gain on your own property, provided you had a farm in the middle of nowhere. And when I say in the middle of nowhere is, if you had a private property further than 10 kilometers from an airport or an airfield, you would probably be able to fly your aircraft pretty safely without any consequences. But even then, there are certain laws that apply to hobbyists. In that case, you would be a hobbyist flying on your farm. Then you are restricted to certain heights and distances. These heights and distances on private property is about 50 meters up, that's about 150 feet high, and about 300 meters away from you. If you know drones and their capabilities, they are quite capable of doing that in seconds. And that is why there are laws, because these, though they look like toys sometimes, they can get into helicopter airspace and civilian airspace within seconds. So even as a hobbyist, you are limited. But I'd like to focus more on the commercial use of drones. For example, if you were going to go down to the local construction site, maybe at the mall, they're busy doing a new development, that would be a construction site. You can take the drone there and it can be used commercially. If somebody was going to be shooting a movie or a TV advert and they wanted to follow a car with a drone, that's a commercial outcome. And even something as simple again as selling a home, a farm, a property. There's a commercial venture, there's a profit to be made by commissions, all that sort of thing. The civil aviation sees that as commercial gain. And the person selling your property, making you a video, if they use a drone, they have to have all the licenses. All right, so let's look at what is required if I want to use this drone commercially. What does it mean? I'm going to try and keep it simple. There are some acronyms, forgive me, but I'll try and keep it simple because it can be quite overwhelming. So first of all, the pilot would need to have a drone pilot's license. That pilot would need to belong to a company known as a drone operator. You may or may not have heard the acronym, an ROC, that really refers to an operation certificate by this drone company. So the pilot has to have his or her license. They have to then be registered with one of South Africa's drone operation companies, and there's a list on the SACAA website, and we'll take a look at that in a few moments. The drone has to be registered. As you can see, this drone has got some special markings on it, almost like a number plate, when a hobby drone doesn't. And if you ever see a drone flying that doesn't have those markings, that's probably not a commercial drone, maybe just somebody playing with a drone. And let's say you went to one of those companies and said, right, I need you to come and fly at my house, my property, and sell it for me. What would that pilot have to do? That pilot would have to file a flight plan with the civil aviation. We are in Somerset West, for example. Somerset West is far enough from Cape Town International to be considered uncontrolled airspace. However, we are only within barely 9.9 kilometers from Stellenbosch Airfield. And if you've ever been at the beach on a beautiful sunny day, you will see sometimes helicopters flying over there, gyrocopters flying over there where they're surfing. And if somebody was flying a drone on the beach, you could very easily get in the way of an aircraft. So let's say you were selling a property on the beachfront road. That pilot would have to file a flight plan, get the municipal permission to be there, and a whole lot of other things. So it's not just about having a pilot's license. Anybody who wants to operate there has to have an operation certificate. So if you're going to hire somebody to do some drone work, make sure they can provide you with what's known as the ROC certificate. Both their name and the drone registration must reflect on the certificate. If they cannot provide that document, you know that they are illegal. So why are all these laws necessary? Sometimes it seems overkill. I understand that. I've been doing this long enough to know there are both good points and bad points, just like with anything in life when driving a car and so forth. But these drones, no matter how beautiful they are and how amazing that the footage they can capture, that's 1.2 kilos that could drop out of the sky due to a battery failure, mechanical failure. There's privacy concerns, safety concerns, and ultimately the airspace above you. When those gyrocopters and planes do fly over, you could get in their way. I, for example, did a job not too long ago at the Somerset West Mall, and while I was there, I was on my aviation radio, because that's what you have to have if you're a pilot, so that you can talk to the traffic around you and that you can hear them coming towards you. And I announced my position. I said, hey, I'm doing drone work here at the Somerset West Mall. The pilot on the N2 with the helicopter was not too far away, within a kilometer, said, thank you for telling me that you're there. I will stay clear of Somerset West Mall. And he was on his way to, for example, I think it was Gordon's Bay. So that would be an example. If he didn't know that I was there, if I didn't know that he was there, that could be disastrous. So it's all about safety, privacy, and doing things legally and ethically and professionally. All right, so again, as I said, this video's intention is to help and guide and protect and to educate the market. If you were gonna sell your home, property, whatever it is you're gonna do, and you need a drone operator, even if it's just a video for your coffee shop, please, I implore you to and encourage you to ask for the drone operation certificate to make sure that this person is legal. If we take a look at the Civil Aviation's website, these are companies that are registered. As you can see, the one I'm hovering right now is called DC Geomatics. That is the ROC or the drone company that I'm registered with. So whenever I go and provide drone solutions, all the permission forms, all the documentations come from DC Geomatics, and I'm one of their pilots, and therefore I'm registered and able to obtain legal, ethical, safe footage for all my clients for all their needs. So let's say you wanted to hire a real estate company tomorrow. If you wanted to look at this list, you can. If you cannot find their name on this list, it means two things. Number one, that they're not licensed to do drone operations at all. The option for that is to hire someone like myself or any one of these other companies to do the drone work for them. That is why there's drone service providers. If you want to sell your house or your property or need a drone for commercial purposes, you are welcome to go through this list and see if any of the companies that have told you they can provide you with drone operations is on this list. If you're in the Somerset West Cape Town area, you're welcome to contact me and I'll provide my details below, and I'll provide you with all the documentation. If the company is not on this list, doesn't matter who they are, and currently there are no property companies that are registered to legally provide drone solutions directly. There are none, and you could be liable for a fine anywhere from 10,000 to 50,000, depending on where the property is and how bad the law was broken. So for example, if you had a property closer to an airfield, the consequences are higher, the fines are higher, and there are even possible prosecutions and criminal charges that can be brought against you. Myself, not too long ago, in the middle of the heart of Cape Town, we had all the permissions in place. We were doing a shoot for one of my clients, an architectural shoot, they're renovating a building. The client got a document directly with an intent to investigate and to prosecute. Luckily for my client, they were using me and all the permissions were in place. I will put a link to that document. I'll block out the necessary information, but you can see as an example that this is real. People do get prosecuted, people do get fines for the obvious reasons. We want to keep the people safe, we want to keep the privacy laws in place, so I implore you to use a legal operator. If they cannot be found on this list, they do not have a license. The only other reason they may not be found on the list is that if one of the property companies came to me and said to me, we have a client that we want to sell a house for in Strand, will you please come and do the drone work for us? Then we will provide that. We will then still provide all the documentation. We'll get all the flight plans in place, get all the documents, and both you, the owner of the property, and the property company will get a copy of that. What will happen is if you used an illegal person and there was an incident or even just a report, the property owner gets fined, the pilot gets fined, and so does the property company get fined. And I'm sure none of us want any of that. So please, again, do the right thing, do the ethical thing, support a legal drone pilot. It would be the equivalent of you send your child to university, or you yourself have spent a lot of time educating yourself, getting a degree, looking for a good job, and you can't get that job because there's somebody that has come into the market that have done none of the above. They haven't spent the time, they haven't spent the money, they haven't, they would seem not to be concerned about safety and all the rules, and they get the work versus you or your child not getting the work. So there are many men and women that I know that have spent a tremendous amount of time and effort to get their licenses in place, to do the things ethically. And this is sometimes why a legal drone pilot is more expensive than somebody that doesn't do it, because there is an endless amount of documents and permits required to do it legally and safely. But at least you have the cover of liability and professionalism and ethics. So again, please do the right thing, use a local, support a local that has spent time and effort and money to do a proper job professionally. All right, so you're selling your property, or you're a property company that want to do the right thing or use it, or maybe you didn't know all these laws. I will be very happy to consult with you and to talk to you and even do the work for you. If I'm not available, I know many guys and girls that are available and legal to do the drone ops. So thank you for your time. Again, as I said, this is purely an educational video to help and guide the public. I'm very passionate about that which I do. I'm passionate about my country. I'm passionate about my area, Somerset West. And I just want people to do things the correct way, the right way, and safe. If you are unsure, again, please contact me. I would appreciate it if you would share this video, like, subscribe, because this helps us get the message out there. And the message is really about saying, hey guys, let's do this the right way. Let's do this professionally. And we have a beautiful story all around and have beautiful scenery, beautiful homes in the area that we live. Hey guys, we've also got a competition running. I want you to share and like and subscribe to this video. And we are going to take from all the subscribers over maybe, let's say, the next 3-4 weeks. And we're going to draw somebody from a random draw. And locally in Strand, there's a company called We Buy Drones. They are there by the pavilion. I would urge you to go and support them. They do 3D printing. They do all the servicing on my drones. They're an awesome bunch of guys. And yeah, you can maybe even buy yourself your new hobby drone there. And they're also very capable of educating you as with regards to the legalities. But please support them. So yeah, like and subscribe this video. We're going to do a random draw, and maybe you win yourself a cool drone that you can fly around your house and hopefully not scare the cat. So come fly with me.